group of natives stood there. Jaimo, a very intelligent fellow, said, "Tuan, you've become a Christian, haven't you?" And, oh, that's devastating. I said, "Why do you say that, man?" He said, "You don't get angry anymore he changed it to they, when they steal your pineapples." I said, does that make me? He says, "Yeah, Tuan, you're a Christian now." I thought, what about all the other good things I've done here? I've knocked myself out for these people trying to help them. Doesn't that count? No, they only remember when you blow it. You ever notice it? Your neighbors expect you to be totally perfect, right? Now, how can you be a witness? Well, listen to the rest of the story. See what happens. I wondered, now, how does he know what a Christian was? Then I thought of it. For 7, almost 8 years now, I preached about Christianity. I preached how Christ, what he's like, how a Christian lives, how he acts, how he reacts. And they always said, "Tuan, whenever you said that, we hoped we'd meet one someday." You see? Now, that's the difference between our walk and our talk, right? I'm preaching at them, but they're watching me get angry, and my message is nullified. And so here he stands, he says, "Tuan, why don't you get angry anymore?" I said, "I don't need to get angry anymore. I gave the garden away." "Oh, you should have given it to me," he said. And I asked him some questions, and then he said, "Tuan, who owns the garden now?" I said, "I'll tell you tomorrow." Friends, I felt so bad at this point because they just said, "You've become a Christian." I thought, I've blown it so bad. I should move to another tribe. I don't know what to do. There's 150 tribes in the yellow side of the island, on Irian Jaya alone, that are without missionaries, that have not heard the gospel yet. Can you believe it? And there are many more on this side too. And I should go to another tribe, but a missionary wouldn't fly me anywhere else, a missionary pilot. He said, "Why do you want to go?" I said, I've messed this up so bad, I want to start all over again. He says, "Why did you do it?" I didn't want to tell him. Didn't want to tell anybody. I hadn't told my wife. And I said, "They just said, you've become a Christian." He sat there laughing at me. He said, "Tell you what to do. Show them the difference, and you'll win them." I thought about it, but I remember that night, I went in the house. It was nighttime. And Jaimo says, "Tuan, who owns him now?" And one more question to him before you go in there, go to sleep. Who owns him now? I said, "Hey, I'll tell you tomorrow. I'm not going to talk anymore. It's late. I'm tired. Come back tomorrow. We talk every day anyway." So I looked through a crack in the curtain, and he stood there pointing at his people. They point with their chin. He said, "Did he give him to you? Did he give him to you? Did he give him to you? Did he give him to you?" And he's "Do you own him?" And he says, "One more question, Tuan. I can't find the owner. Who owns him now?" I said, "I'll tell you tomorrow. Go home." And they rounded the corner of my house. You know what they said to each other? They said, "How can we steal if we don't know who owns them?" It was a difficult night for hungry thieves. Can you imagine the agony of a hungry thief when he can't, the biggest headhunter might own him, the witch doctor might own him. So all that night, I couldn't sleep, folks. My conscience I was awake. I've just become a Christian. I felt so bad. I was awake. I said, "Oh God, I'm starting all over again." I thought I was starting over at the seminar, 2 years ago. And then, when I gave you control of the garden, I thought I was starting. And now how many times do I have to start over? And I felt so bad. But the amazing thing, as I lay on my mattress that night, I heard commotion in the village. Everybody was awake. Those guys were they woke up everybody trying to find the owner of the garden. Desperate, hungry thieves. And I thought, this is neat. Finally, they're all losing a night's sleep over this garden. And it made me feel so good. They went with torches through the next village. Can you believe this? At night, snakes and all. They went through and woke up the next village trying to find the owner. Never did find him. And early in the morning, I must have fallen asleep because they woke us up. And they were all around our house. And I woke my wife up, and I knew what this was all about, but she didn't. And she's afraid, and she says, "What is it, Otto? What is it?" I said, "Calm down, Carol, just calm down. No problem at all. I know what this is all about. You'll enjoy this. You join me outside, and you'll enjoy this one." Well, now, my wife is a night person, and she'd never seen the sunrise yet in New Guinea. And I'd often say, "You've got to see the sunrise." And she says, she's smart. "That's just a sunset backwards," she'd say. Once he said, God wanted me to see the sunrise, he'd schedule it later on in the day. And